There's the smoke from the bottomless pit. And this man knows nothing. He's out of the bottomless pit, isn't he? He doesn't know anything about the Word of God. That's what bottomless pit means. It means a place of no knowledge. He knows nothing. The very definition of bottomless pit is in 1 Peter 6:4. Proud, know nothing. That's astounding to me. And then Satan is bound in the bottomless pit. He's not bound in hell, is he? Go back to Revelation 20. I saw an angel come down from heaven, had a key of the bottomless pit. This is figurative language. And a great chain in his hand. This is not some angel literally binding Satan. And he laid hold on the dragon, Dracon, meaning to fascinate and speak smooth words, that old serpent which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, or he bound him 2,000 years actually. Bound is the word dio. Means to forbid, declare unlawful, or guilty. In this case, it means to forbid, because he's forbidden from doing something. During this 2,000-year period, he's forbidden. And he was cast into the place of no knowledge, bottomless pit, you can call it if you want to. I don't like that word. And shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more. Till the 1,000 years were finished, till the thousands. Now, why was he bound? Why was he forbidden? What was he forbidden from doing? From deceiving the ethnos till the 1,000 years is finished. Ethnos, we get our word ethnic. It means non-Jews. There's a particular set of, it doesn't say he can't deceive the Jews. There's a set of non-Jews he will not be able to deceive for a period here. Where's the only time period in the history of the world where he's forbidden from deceiving some non-Jews? From Acts 2 to the end of time, the Gentile church that used to be the spirits in prison and they were in darkness, he is forbidden from deceiving us now. That's what this is talking. It's not talking about he's forbidden from deceiving Jews. It says there's a set of non-Jews God won't allow him to deceive. That's the church, isn't it? That's the 2,000-year period. Now, I've run out of time, but I'm going to come back and come straight to this 20th chapter. You got to keep in mind, the 1,000 years, you can't say 1,000. I don't believe those translators had the foggiest idea what Kilia meant. They didn't know what a lot of their words meant. Did you know if you get around Greek students, and I don't mean experts, there's no such thing as a Greek expert. Everybody is students. The best scholars in the world will say, I'm just a student. You can get around Greek students, and the guy can be a Greek teacher, 50 years old, and get around another one, and they will differ with each other on meanings. It takes a lot to investigate this and really find out what it means. I can't always trust a Greek teacher's words in a Greek book. When he gets into IE or I believe this means, whoa, wait a minute, I'll investigate that and see if I believe it means that. I don't even trust Greek teachers. And it was a dead language for so long that when they started translating, we couldn't get a hold of it. They don't even know how to construct sentences in it because participles, which are verbal adjectives, a great majority of the time will come after the noun that they modify. And we don't do that in the English language. We're going, how do you construct that? I don't believe they had any more idea how to translate 1,000 than they knew how to flap their arms and fly. From what I've studied. I believe the 1,000 without a doubt is a 2,000-year period. I believe if they wanted to hone in and get exactly 2,000, they would say dis kilioi. Oi being plural, dis meaning two, like duo. Or if they wanted exactly 3,000, they would say tris, C-I-L-O-I, tris kelio, or 3,000. That meant exactly 3,000. But when they use kilia, I believe it's talking about a 2,000-year period or more. I believe that kilia was a general term that could be 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. If they wanted to limit it exactly, they would pay, say, dis kilioi to exactly 2,000, tris kilioi exactly 3,000. Now we're going to go into some of this as we get along. I'm absolutely positive there's no 1,000-year reign. I'll just give you a verse. The verse that really bothered me right here in the 20th chapter. I'll read it to you and we'll quit. As a kid, my father would get up and preach and talk about a 1,000-year reign. And Daddy didn't know anything. I don't even know how he was even preaching. I don't mean that as an insult. He didn't know anything. He'd read 3 verses and tell stories for 45 minutes. I think he wanted attention. And that's very disgusting to go to so-called fellowship meetings and revivals, and they got half a dozen preachers and none of them know nothing. Y'all ever been to those kind of things? I'm thinking. And it was the guy that was the funniest. Jack Hiles he was the funniest, and we all got to listen to Jack. And Jack was an idiot. Thought he was a comedian. He preceded Jesse the Plant. He's got an IQ of a plant. I don't like it kind of funny stuff. I want to teach the Word of God. But what bothered me more than anything else, if there's a 1,000-year reign, after this is all over, according to verse 5, there won't be a rapture till the 1,000-year reign is over. Because it says, but the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. That blew my mind as a kid. How can there be a 1,000-year reign if there's a pretrib rapture and we're going to be changed at the end of the 1,000 years? I couldn't figure that out. But are we going to be changed at the end of the 1,000 years? Yes. Aren't we? That's the end of time. Y'all see that? I don't think you know pre-trib rapture, premillennialism is something called Darbyism. J.N. Darby brought it to America in the 1830s, and he started preaching. A young girl named MacDonald, what was her first name? Margaret MacDonald. She had a vision when she was in Mr. Darby's campaign over in England. She's 15 years old, said she stood up and said, I think there's going to be a rapture before the tribulation. And they built an entire theology on that, brought it to America, and America swallowed it, suckered. And the church wasn't preaching a 1,000-year reign and a pre-trib rapture before the 1830s. Weren't teaching it. Jonathan Edwards didn't teach it. John Calvin didn't teach it. George Whitefield didn't teach it. John Bunyan didn't teach it. It would have been an alien doctrine to them. What are you talking about? We are really... America's so messed up in their theology. Preachers are lazy. I know them. I've traveled from one end. I have been all over Pennsylvania, all up and down the East Coast as a young preacher in the 60s. I've been all over the Midwest in Kansas, Nebraska, Illinois, Ohio, Indiana, all out in Iowa. I've been in so many places you cannot believe. All over New Mexico, California. Me and Mary would take a vacation. We'd be driving out through New Mexico. I say, up here in Grants, I was preaching in this preacher's house, and Roy Trimble was my lead singer, and I was preaching revival for this preacher up here in Grants, New Mexico, and Roy came in one night, and the preacher said we could sleep in this bedroom, and Roy jumped. Roy weighed 245 pounds, and he jumped in the middle of the bed and broke it in half. And I said, it's right down the road here. And then we were going down the road, and I said, down here, I tell these stories to Mary all the way going somewhere. And then after I left that, I went into the music business. We get to Tucson, and I say, I used to sing at David Monson Air Base here. It was a General Breedlove, and we sung him into the We did a show for him so he could be promoted to general. He was the youngest man that ever made general in the Air Force at 38 years old, and we were the show that night. And then we get on to Phoenix, and I say, up here at Luke Air Force Base, I did this and this and this. I've been out there. The world don't have good sense. You know where we live?